The story of the Jewish people is like a big amazing blanket. It's woven with belief, tough times, and the strength to keep going. It's like a puzzle that makes you want to look closer. Our story starts way back, in a place called the ancient Near East, around 1800 years before a common time. We meet Abraham, a very important early leader. He had a brand new idea, believing in just one God. This idea of one God was super important. It started the Jewish people on their own special journey through history. It also helped start other big religions like Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Old things dug up by people who study the past, in an area called the Levant, show us that early Hebrew groups lived near other people like the Canaanites, but they started to become their own unique group with their belief in God called Yahweh at the center. This belief brought different families and groups together. They became one people with a shared story. They had to deal with tricky things happening around them, like changes in power and how people lived together. Learning about where the Jewish people came from a long time ago is always changing. Every time someone finds something new, it can change what we think we know. The fact that they've kept who they are for so long shows how powerful an idea, a special promise, like a covenant, and a shared story can be. It's a story that has lasted for thousands of years. The story of the Exodus when the Jewish people left Egypt is super important to who they are. It's a story about being set free and making a special promise with God when they were in the desert. When Jewish people around the world celebrate Passover with a special meal called a Seder, they remember this story. It reminds them of being saved and gives them hope. People who study history still talk about whether the Exodus story happened exactly as it's told. Some think parts of it are based on real events, while others see it more as a story with important religious lessons. After a king named Solomon, their kingdom broke into two parts, Israel and Judah. This led to a big mystery, the mystery of the lost tribes. Around 722 years before a common time, a group called the Assyrians took over Israel. The 10 tribes who lived there seemed to disappear. This started a lot of guessing and many legends. All over the world, some groups of people say they come from these lost tribes. This shows how much people want to feel connected to this ancient past. It's hard to find solid proof for these claims, but they show how the story of these scattered people has lasted for a very long time. A long time ago, in the year 70, the Romans destroyed the Second Temple in Jerusalem. This caused many Jewish people to spread out and live in different parts of the world. This is called the diaspora. Even though it was hard, Jewish people kept who they were and their traditions alive. They even changed them a little to fit new places. Secret schools helped make sure their ways of life continued. In places like Spain and an area called Provence, during the Middle Ages, a special way of thinking called Kabbalah started. It was about finding secret, deeper meanings in their holy book, the Torah, and in how the world was made. These Kabbalah ideas also affected other ways of thinking. They quietly helped shape how people in the Western world thought about big ideas and spiritual things. Jewish communities really valued reading, learning, and being organized. This helped them become important in many different jobs and areas, but it also sometimes made them targets for unfair treatment and bad feelings from others. Terrible, untrue stories like blood libels or a fake book called The Protocols of the Elders of Zion were used to make people hate Jewish people. This hate, called anti-Semitism, led to awful things happening. But even with all these problems, Jewish people have given so much to science, art, and culture. Their ideas have changed the world in big ways. Think about people like Einstein, who changed how we see the universe, and Freud, who changed how we understand our minds. And Jewish people who moved to America helped start Hollywood and the movie business. Artists like Tamara de Lempicka, who had a complicated background, also made art that people still remember and love today. All these accomplishments show how creative and smart people can be, even when they face really hard times. When we learn about this history, we see how much strength it takes to keep going and give important things to the world. The 1900s were a time of terrible sadness with the Holocaust, but it was also when the country of Israel was created. For many Jewish people, this was like a very old dream coming true. The Jewish story is all about finding new ways to be, while always remembering their past. It shows they are incredibly strong and don't give up easily. Even in the darkest times, people found ways to fight back. For example, something called the Underwater Cabaret shows how art and culture can be a way to survive and keep hope alive. Today, Jewish people still keep their old traditions. At the same time, they are helping to shape new ideas in science, how countries are run, and what art and culture look like now. Things like the Anne Frank House teach new generations about the Holocaust. This helps people learn to be more understanding and accepting of others. What the Jewish people leave behind for the future is a deep love for learning, for being part of a community, and a belief that things can get better. These ideas will echo for a long, long time.